Hey, everybody. Welcome to another bad call. The podcast that proves the refs aren't the only ones who get it wrong. It is Monday, October 7th. We have Saints at Chiefs right now in a pretty good game. I think the Saints just took the lead 14-13 real quick at a touchdown to Foster Moreau. So some good action here. So we're gonna try to push through here and try to maybe catch the end of this. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Good. I don't think so. I think the Chiefs still have 16.
Oh, 16-13. Sorry. Yep, I missed him. I missed the last Butker kick.
I haven't watched but more than a couple of minutes here after basketball practice tonight, but
I was
probably
digging
saved me
in on
some money because I didn't bet anything until
I
just
bet some
now.
stuff.
I did bet an anytime touchdown for Xavier Worthy, so
I bet some stuff and have not gotten any Xavier Worthy close to it, and Kelsey got tackled real close to the end zone. So I got my Shaheed one, if that counts.
Nice.
But speaking of betting, let's go ahead and get into our Tales of a Degenerate. You again got your 4 to score out at like 11:15 or something, 45 minutes before the game. Giving people plenty of time to be popping those bets in. So
they may or may not want to be tailing me, but for the second week in a row, I was 2 out of 4. So had Brian Robinson Jr. and Jamar Chase, both at plus 110. Then with the role that Dontavian Wicks had in the team on Green Bay, I just kind of thought he was almost a sure thing. He didn't get the usage and he wasn't effective. But I'll tell you what, the Packers, they kind of stink. I don't know. They're definitely not as good as the other two teams above them in the division. And the Tyreek Hill one, I get Miami's broke it. It just seemed at plus 200. It seemed like a shot worth taking. So,
I was with you on the Wicks train. That was a total letdown. The targets that went his way were garbage targets. At least the ones I saw. And the Tyreek, he's one of those players where it has to happen at some point. It just has to. I feel like it may not happen though until Tua comes back.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. I kind of thought that Mike McDaniel would be able to manufacture some touches, and it almost feels like anytime Tyreek gets his hands on the ball, he could break one, but you gotta have somebody to get it to him, I guess.
Yep.
We know that all too well. And then
how'd you do in your super contest?
The super contest picks, coming into the week, I was 9-11 after a bad week prior at 1-4. But I went 3-2. I thought I was feeling like pretty optimistic. I started off, hit the first 3 Vikings, Commanders, and Bears pretty easily. They weren't really in question. Then the Rams and the Packers, I felt like the Rams, it was a good game. It was close. They had a chance at the end. So I don't think it was a bad pick. I don't know what happened with the Seahawks, man. They were at home, and that Giants team hasn't looked good. And I missed something because I had heard Drew Lock was going to start. Did he get hurt?
I heard rumor of that, but I thought it was just like one of those stupid Twitter account things. I didn't.
No, I could have sworn I saw that they were benching Daniel Jones going into the week, but perhaps not.
It's possible. I didn't pay that much attention to it, if I'm being honest.
So, but yeah, busy. 3-2. I can't complain. Brings me up to 12-13 overall. We're gonna hit a couple of these weeks where we get to 4-1. I'm pretty sure of it. So,
Xavier Worthy touchdown.
Thank you. Anytime boost, 50% boost. Thank you. 7-1.
Yep. Nice. I don't remember the ones that I sent you for what I would pick, but I'm pretty sure I missed on mine.
Well, did you bet them?
Oh, no. No.
Oh, well.
I did not bet them. I'm like trying to scroll through our conversation really quick to see. I thought I wrote them down somewhere, but I apparently did not. So
The only one I
was like,
knew
oh,
we
I'll
were
just...
overlapped on was Wicks.
Oh, not the touchdown, not the 4 to score on our spreads.
Oh, well, you had the Packers. I know that. That was the one we were opposite on.
Yeah, I did Vikings -2.5, Ravens -2.5, Packers -3, Broncos -2.5, and Saints +5.5.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, well, what are you gonna do? None of that matters as long as the Bears come away with a dub, and they did. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that game. Bears end up winning 36-10 against Carolina. I don't really want to call this a game. We had talked about how much better Carolina's offense looked coming into this game, and Andy Dalton had like 8 passing yards at one point in time, like in like the third quarter or something, if I remember correctly. Like, it was ridiculous. I mean, he just had nothing.
No,
Nothing
the
going on.
Bears
So
the defense was solid, man. And,
yeah.
and
But
when
we knew that part of it. We knew, you know, right? We knew defense. It's our offensive concerns right now. Let's start with the play calling, right? Because I know that's one of your biggest gripes, one of my biggest gripes on some stuff. How do we feel Waldron did in this one?
well, it certainly looked better. They I don't first drive, not so much. Again, I've been a little perplexed on these scripted plays. Why they haven't come out in the first drive as solid, but once they start speeding the tempo up and kind of go loose huddle, not kind of put the defense on their heels, so they got to get ready. They do pretty well, and had some pretty good balance. We didn't pass the ball too much in this game. Ran the ball halfway decently. Roshan Johnson inside runs, couple of touchdowns. That's the kind of thing we want to see. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so anytime we're able to run the ball more than we pass it, typically that you're in a good position. Like if you're able to do that, typically means you're winning, so that's good. 39 rushes to 29 pass attempts. Here's the thing though, like 3.3 yards per rush. Little concerning. Little concerning. You want a little bit more out of that, especially going up against a team that is bottom of the league in rush defense. That was missing one of their star defenders. Like we should have been more effective running the ball. That said, where you're lacking in success on the ground, you're making it up in those little short screens that basically count as runs anyway. So that seems to be where it's at. We had 12 passing first downs, 11 rushing first downs. So very, very even, very balanced. I'm not going to complain. We got a dub. Play calling is trending in the right direction. Would love to see better yards per attempt on the ground, though, for sure. And with that, let's talk about the O-line.
Yeah.
Do we see encouragement coming out of this game?
Well, didn't feel like Williams was being pressured a ton. It wasn't like the last 4 games. He wasn't scrambling as much. He was able to step up into the pocket a little bit. It was noticeable. I was reading through Twitter. Jacob Infante wrote a article, and it gives you the offensive. He pulled the PFF scores for the offense and defense, and of the top 5, 4 of them were linemen. And Bill Murray came in for Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins actually graded out at number 1, but Bill Murray, who filled in for Jenkins when he went down, he came up second. So that's encouraging. The less we see of Nate Davis, the better. So, but overall, the line graded well. I didn't notice them getting hammered, so that might just be who they were going against. But you can only play the jerseys that are on the other side of the field.
So that's where I'm at. Like if you ask me, hey, is this O-line coming together? Your gut instinct after the last 2 games is to say yes. But I don't think so. The last 2 games have been against 2 of the worst rush defenses in the league. Hopefully it's been good for cohesion, it's been good for confidence, and it'll build them up through it. But again, we're not having the success that we should have in the run game against these bottom tier rush defenses. And later on in the game, like I feel a lot of the protection success is coming because Caleb's getting the ball out of his hands a whole lot quicker. He's being a lot faster with his reads. Towards the second half and the end of the game, when we didn't need to, it looked like we were kind of getting a little greedy, and he went back to like looking for that big chunk play instead of the, what's in front of you, which, we'll touch on a little bit later. But
I have a thought on that too.
He was running around a whole lot more and, doing stuff that, while really fun to watch and nerve wracking for that matter, because you're just going, oh crap, right? He didn't need to be doing it. So I want to say they're getting better. I need to see it against a not bottom tier defense and more consistently.
Yeah, I mean, I think over this next stretch, I think we're probably not going to see a whole lot of it, but if we can build upon it while we're playing some of the lower tier teams in the league, it's only going to help us, in the long run. I kind of thought that a little bit of the play calling in the second half got a little too vanilla, too conservative. And that might be where you started seeing Caleb trying to make a play, because maybe he was getting a little bored with some of the call. Because when you get stale and you just only do the easy things, especially when you're not being successful at it with that 3.3 yards per carry, then it's pretty easy for the defense, and you're not going to put a lot of points on the board. So,
right. And I get all that, but you're in a situation where you have the lead and you still have to play smart and play what's in front of you. You don't have to do all the extra dancing around. Like it
no,
looked
I'm
like
saying,
he was
but if they
looking
were
for
a little bit more aggressive with the play
runs.
calling in general, then you're moving the ball. Then you're still scoring points. I don't like to shut it down at halftime, because if you shut it down at halftime, maybe you have a good second quarter against a good team and put 3 touchdowns on, but you shut it down at halftime, a good team's going to come back and get you, and then you're caught on your heels.
Well, 1, you weren't playing a good team. 2, I'm not saying shut it down. What I'm saying is on Caleb's front, like, it looked like he was looking for that home run ball again, like he was doing in weeks 1 and 2, and not so much in 3, but more so in 1 and 2. You don't have to. You're in the lead. Take what's in front of you and just keep those drives and keep that time of possession going. Now, ultimately, he did, keep time of possession going because of amazing things he did. But against top tier teams, you're not going to get away with that. So,
I think
on
we're
that,
on a little bit of disconnect.
You talked about the game plan, getting a little conservative. That's a note on our efficiency thing. We're 4 for 11 on third down. I'd like to see that number a little bit higher. Not necessarily the 11 part of it, but definitely the 4. I want to see that number higher.
I mean, that comes with being a little more aggressive on first and second down and picking up more yards so that you're not in third and longs.
Or by actually establishing a solid run game where you're in front of the chains without
Apparently,
having
we're
to be
not
aggressive.
capable of doing that at this point.
So, all right. Well, let's talk about some. I don't want to go down a bad, depressing path because we did win this game, right?
Yeah, we shouldn't. This was exciting. It was
yeah
the most efficient game that we've had all year.
DJ Moore, that connection looked much better this week. Not even, not just because of the stat wise, but just the timing of the passes and the routes and that communication. So much better. So much better. Granted, it was a quote unquote revenge game for DJ, but just that connection between him and Williams, really liked that one.
Some important catches by Keenan Allen still. He's like a quasi tight end at this point because he's a little bit slower, but he's a big body, and so he's not a tight end, but he's just a nice, dependable target. And Komet had some nice plays in there as well.
Great beard on Keenan Allen. Great beard game he's got going on there. Turnover differential. Let's talk about that for a minute. I feel like so the Bears, if you're not local, the Bears they tweet out like every time the Bears get a takeaway, like B-Dubs gives like 6 wings or something. I don't even know what it is because you have to live in Illinois to get it, and I don't, so it doesn't really matter.
I didn't know that.
Shows up through my Bears.
B-Dubs right across the state line from me.
My Bears Twitter or whatever. Every week that thing's going off. Every week they're saying, "Hey, the Bears get another takeaway." 11 takeaways in the first 5 weeks. That makes them third in the league, behind Minnesota at 13 and Green Bay at 14. So not bad. I don't have the efficiency numbers though, or the differential for Green Bay and Minnesota right here. I'll have to look really fast, but the Bears have given up the ball 6 times, but taken away 11. So they are winning that turnover battle. Hopefully that continues as such. I don't know if I can even find that anymore real fast, but really love seeing that. That defense is playing fast. They're being opportunistic. Very reminiscent of some old school Bears defensive football. Very, very nice.
Like I said, there's sometimes in the first half, especially at the beginning of the game, they seem to come out on defense a little bit flat also. You give up some yards and stuff, but whatever happens at halftime, man, they really go into shutdown mode.
I'm still thinking, they gave up that long rush to Hubbard to get, to go down early, but I'm still thinking this defense is set up to basically just, you can run between the 20s. That's fine, right? We'll give you that, but we'll clamp down when we're ready.
Yeah.
So they're almost funneling towards the run. But that interior line's starting to come together too, especially when it comes to the pass rush. So very happy with the defense. If the defense can keep going and the offensive line starts catching up to that front, I'll be happy.
For sure.
And
I didn't appreciate that Chuba Hubbard touchdown against me in fantasy this week.
I'm sure. I don't even want to talk about fantasy. I had 2 different leagues where the guys didn't set their lineup. I definitely lost in one of them because he had Drake London, Jamar Chase, and somebody else that gave him like 90 plus points just through those 3 guys alone. And in the other league, there's a slight chance I'll lose because Rashid Shaheed caught that massive touchdown at the end. So, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about next week. The Bears travel to London. They leave tomorrow, I think.
Tomorrow,
if they haven't
I like
left
that. I like that. Yeah. That's smart.
So get there early. Because this is basically a home game for Jacksonville, right? I mean, they are basically the London Jaguars
I guarantee you there are more Bears fans in the stands than there will be Jags fans.
Probably. I mean, that's just it's a bigger market. I mean, it makes sense. Supposedly too, the Bears, I was watching a thing on flag football. The Bears are a big part of bringing flag football internationally, especially for young women. So it's become really popular over there, especially as it starts to move towards the Olympics. And the Bears are one of two teams that are really making that push. So they're pretty popular over there. But what are you most? Let's start with what are you most concerned about for this game?
I suppose the having a rookie quarterback in this coming into this strange kind of week where you're traveling so far, you're going out of country, things like that. I think that we've had some good momentum in the last couple of weeks, and I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, fair. So my biggest concern is London games are always weird, right? Your international games can get weird real quick. We've seen times where really bad teams have gone over there and play like a completely different team just because they're in a completely different country. Jacksonville being one of those teams and multiple times. The Bears the last 2 weeks have gone against two of the worst rush defenses in the league. And now they're going up against the worst passing defense in the league as far as yardage allowed at this point. I don't want them to get caught up in a just aired it out game. I want them to continue to try to push that run or the short game if you want, include those, running back screens or whatever. Play in front of the chains instead of behind them and take what's there. So like that's my biggest concern is that we'll go, oh, they're weak here. Let's start airing it out. No. Keep that good balance and go from there.
I'm a little concerned about Tank Bigsby. He's been running the ball really well for Jacksonville.
Yeah, this last week was the first time he had more carries than ETN.
Yeah, so they seem to be realizing that, and if they really figure out how to balance those two, they could be dangerous on that. On the same notion, Trevor Lawrence has a tendency to be loose with the ball.
Yep.
So I'd like to make sure we take advantage of that, get some turnovers, keep winning that turnover battle. That certainly puts you in a much better position to win. And
100%.
And then I feel like we've got the advantage in the kicking game too. So Bears by 7.
What? All right, he's putting out there early. All right, you don't have to wait for his super contest picks. That he's put it out there this week. So there you go. You don't have to wait on that one. On the same side, so Jacksonville's been putting a little bit more Bigsby, give you a little bit more thunder before you bring in the lightning. Makes sense. I'd kind of like to see the Bears try that. I would like to see them bring in Roschon and give a little bit more of let's hit you with Roschon first and then hit you with Swift. And maybe, just maybe, try throwing a couple passes while Roschon's in the game. So it's not like, oh, hey, Roschon's in the backfield, they're running the ball.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to see them give him a series or two. Don't just bring him in obvious rushing situations. Give him a series. Give him the second series. Give him the fourth series. Keep Swift fresh. Put them both on the field at the same time. That might be interesting.
They tried that at least once on Sunday. I think that would have been when you left for your son's football game. But they did try that at least once. It looked weird, but I think that had more to do with the play itself than anything else. One thing of note, there are some early injury reports. We do have a couple guys not traveling to the team. Terrell Smith is not traveling. Zach Pickens is not. And this is the big one. Jaquan Brisker is not traveling.
I just saw that.
I hope Tommy Trimble's okay because that was a massive hit and he just lights out. Bye-bye.
You missed my poorly timed poor joke on Sunday.
Yeah, that was a very big hit. Not malicious, totally clean and well done. Just
for sure.
big boy hit. But unfortunately, it looks like he's got a concussion as well. So hopefully he comes out of that quickly. And we do have a bye after this week, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be okay on that front. Anything else that you want to add before we move on to bad call of the week?
I think that about sums it up.
Perfect. All right, with that, buddy, what you got for bad call?
All right, this week my bad call of the week is a joint. It's
A joint?
bad coaching decisions. We had two real bad examples of decision making. Bengals, Ravens, hell of a game. Bengals put up a lot of offense. Like we've seen, their defense is not very good. It ends up in overtime. Bengals somehow create a turnover, get the ball in plus territory. Zach Taylor calls 3 straight runs in overtime. Even though Joe Burrow had passed for 392 yards and 5 touchdowns up to that point, settling for a 53-yard field goal try that ends up mishandled or whatever. It got blocked. But why when your team had been so efficient offensively, don't you go for the jugular when you get that turnover? Just did not make any sense. And conversely, the Bills, tied with under a minute to go, backed up against their own goal line. They passed the ball 3 times within their own 5-yard line. 3 incompletions. Had to kick the ball away. Let Houston get good position and kick a field goal. Bills end up losing. The stat goes that it's the only team in the last 45 years to be tied or leading in the final minute of a game inside their own 5 and throw 3 straight passes. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, and I mean, in old Bills teams, you'd kind of understand it because they had no run game whatsoever, but that's not the case anymore. You have James Cook, who has proven plenty capable of running. Ray Davis is not fully established yet, but he can give you a couple yards here and there, and Josh Allen can run. Like,
at least burn clock, burn the other team's timeouts, whatever. It was just really dumb. So bad coaching decisions. That's my bad call of the week.
All right, yeah, I'm with it and totally agree. And happy that it's not a Bears coaching bad call like it normally would be. Mine is it's multifaceted, all around the same thing. So right before the games kicked off this week, the NFL sent out a memo regarding the finger gun celebration, right? So all the different versions of it whatsoever, saying, hey, we don't want it.
Not looked any worse doing that, the two of us just then.
It felt very like Yosemite Sam type of pew, 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 pew. Yeah. Anyway, somebody edited in the Yosemite Sam on me there on that one. Basically saying, hey, we don't want to see it. And I totally understand it from the NFL's perspective. Totally get it. In today's society, especially in America, we don't want it. I totally get it. Don't have a problem with that. Darius Slayton gets fined for it. Not fined, sorry, flagged for it. Josh Downs gets flagged for it. On first downs, they stand up and they do the, again, I'm, not athletic anymore. So, they do it, whatever.
That's a point. Looks cool. That's the point. That's the first down signal.
It looks cool when they do it, right? The difference is you're here versus here, right? First down, open the hand. So I look at it from this side. If you're your players or the teams, the memo went out, get educated on, make sure you guys know it. Don't cost us 15 yards. Yep. Pretty simple right there. To the NFL, you put that memo out on like Saturday or Friday or whatever it was. Show a little bit of leniency here. Like, give them a warning, like a verbal warning, like the first time, do it. Like, hey, next time I got to flag you. Don't just do it right away, because I mean, it really puts that like stain on your refs. And I know the refs are just following the rule, but it really puts that stain on them of like, man, they really don't want this league to be any fun. You just cost us all this momentum, yada, yada. But they're just following the rule that got put forth. So to the NFL, bad call doing it that close to game day. To the players, you know the rules, or the teams, make sure your players know the rules. And to the refs, I know you're following the rules, but we could have given a little bit of like just a warning first. Don't let it affect the game. Now, next week, that's different. You've had over a week, but this first one, a day out, 2 days out, let's use some common sense. So that is my bad call.
Yeah, I can't agree more. We don't need more flags in the game. The games, especially the first few weeks, were pretty bad to watch with all the flags. Here, it's been getting a little bit cleaner. We've been seeing more offense, less flags. It's getting there, but
yep, absolutely don't need the useless ones. All right, buddy. Any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
I think I'm good.
All right. Personal challenge to you to see if you can get those 4 to score out by like 10 a.m. on Sunday instead of 11. Let's see if we can do that one.
I'll try to get him out on Saturday. I wasn't home all day on Saturday.
So. Oh, you heard it here, folks. If you made it this far, you will see that Justin said he's going to try to get him out on Saturday. I'm just giving him shit because I'm not doing any of that stuff right now. So, but I got to give my brother shit because I don't get to do it that often. But if you stuck around this long, again, as always, thank you so much. Please hit that like, follow, subscribe, completely free, and it helps the channel out. If you want to help us out even more, down in the comments, tell us what your bad call of the week was, or if you hit any bets. We love feeling really bad about ourselves while feeling really happy for people that hit those big bets. So go ahead and put those in there. And until next time, try to avoid making another bad call.